Hey guys, so pretty much everything's here for the bike. I did go ahead and paint that cardboard battery cover. It turned out okay. I think I'm going to actually do the particle board slash handy panel covering for it, and you'll become apparent in a little bit. Um, so if many of you don't know, this is a 60 volt actually 58.6 volt nominal, but it's generally conceived as a 60 volt e-bike. It's a 16S 1P 3.4 kilowatt hour bike. The controller is 40 amp peak, but it's generally probably like around 20 continuous, so around 1500 watts and 2500 watt peak. Uh, I think I need to beef up the controller later, but I'm actually okay with the speed that it is. So here's the bike from the front. I did get two of these headlights, so when you actually turn them on, they actually look pretty cool at night. Like when it's riding at you, it kind of like has that sports bike look, and this is kind of what I'm looking for, like a sports bike look almost. So there's that. Um, it doesn't have suspension, which is okay. Usually I just ride it on the road. I'm not looking to go off-road with it. I did get a better display. So generally most bikes that I've done so far, I use this like cheap $5 display. But this one's a little bit more expensive, and let me see if I can get it going. I guess I have to turn it on. So as you can see, it looks a little bit better. Obviously almost like a LED display from an e-bike. Um, One of the cool things is it actually has a temperature sensor. It tells you what the temperature is. So, and it tells you total miles and total time so far. I put it more than, so I also need to calibrate this a little bit better because I don't think it's entirely accurate. I think it's a little bit too fast. So, and also bought this mirror right here. This mirror is pretty awesome. It actually gives you, unlike something like this, like a traditional bike mirror, this gives you a full view of what's on your left. And generally, there's nothing on the right because we're on the curb side of the road here in the United States. It's on the left. So it does shrink the image a little bit, but I think that's better for just the fact that you can see everything. I can actually see everything that's coming behind me, versus before where I had to, with that one on the old bike, I had to really lean into it and make sure I'm actually looking in the right angle to see what's behind me. So this is the cover. See, one of the bad things about it, it has these lines here. So I tried to do the racing stripe. That was a complete fail. I'm gonna put a couple more coats on this, just to use up all the plasti dip. But one of the big fails is that, well, I tried to do the stripe. That was a fail. So when I tried to peel back the painter's tape, it actually peeled off some of the plasti dip. So that was pretty bad. Oh, sorry about that noise in the background. But I think this plasti dip here should make this cover semi-waterproof in the sense that if it's a light rain, I think it'll be okay. A heavy rain, no, not so much. And it's pretty much attached by two bolts down here. There's another one down there, just to, cinch it up a little bit. Um, yeah, that's pretty much it. I have a rear light with the rear reflector as well. Um, yeah, this bike is extremely fun. Let's just talk a little bit about the battery. So right now it's at 58.0 volts. It's not even at nominal voltage anymore yet. Uh, it takes so long for this bike to charge. It's crazy, and that's it's a good and a bad thing too. So yesterday, um, I did my typical Dollar Tree run, which is around 8 miles. You know, half of that's going into the headwind, and half of that's coming back. on the old batteries, the crap batteries, it literally dropped down. Maybe at no, those batteries at that point were pretty bad. It dropped down like 3 to 4 volts. This one went like less than around half a volt for 8 miles at a decent speed. So, and they're not even fully charged yet. So this bike could turn out that I just don't need to charge it to full, which is obviously really good for the cycle life. Also, these batteries are high performance LG Chem N2.1 batteries, and they have 180 amp max continuous or yeah max continuous draw, and I'm generally just drawing less than 20 amps from them. So, and this controller can do 40. And the BMS can do 60. So the controller is a limiting factor here, of the many limiting factors. So they're no way even taxed. And I think there's a philosophy around, do you go efficient and just get the battery that you need, the correct size to match the mileage. So let's just say, everything around me is within 10-mile radius. So did I just get a battery that can, go 10 miles? That's, I have a different philosophy about that. I'd rather have a bigger bike like this that can do, this has an estimated 100 miles of range at 25-30 miles per hour continuous without stopping. And with pedaling, or at 20 miles per hour, probably pedaling, probably upwards of 150 miles. Do I really need all of that for my 10-mile commute? Probably not. But because of that fact, that's such a huge battery, I'm barely draining the battery, I'm barely taxing the battery. And that will, greatly increase the battery life and also performance of the battery and also safety of the battery too, because I'm not constantly doing max draw on it. Well, the other thing obviously is cost, right? You can, you know, you can say own the biggest house in the world, but you can't afford it. But that's not the case with this batteries. I got these from battery hookups, and I paid 350. Did I pay 350? Yeah, I think like 350, 340 for the batteries, and then the, so I bought the BMS, but the BMS is actually not necessary. But I bought a BMS just to be safe and just to try it out. BMS are necessary, but because you have such a large pack, you can actually just draw them down and then just kind of balance them up like once every 2 months or something like that. But here, this is actively being balanced by BMS. But anyway, I spent probably $100 on the BMS. So in total, I spent probably 140 to 500 for 3.4. So really close to that. You know, what? If I can put my hand up to that $100 per kilowatt hour. And these are brand new LG Chem batteries also too. This is a really good deal for it. So if you're to buy something like that retail now from one of the e-bike retailers, it probably costs it probably want around $2,000 probably for it. So maybe even more. But anyway, so obviously it makes sense to buy the bigger battery since it's so cheap in this case, and it's performed so well. Yeah. Anyway, I'm really loving this bike. What I might do is just cover this with a wooden handy board and just maybe make the top here a faux leather, and the bottom I'll just use like spray painted black or a dark color or even gray again. And I'll keep the shell as an insulating layer. So I'll just put the handy wooden board on top, and just kind of just kind of form that around it. Um, anyway, so that's the update. I'm gonna get the chest mount soon, and I'll take this bike out to where there's a radar or a police radar on the road, so I can calibrate the actual speed. I believe the speedometer is probably around 1 mile per hour, faster than it should be, or maybe even 1.5. I set it at 26 and 3-inch tires, So this is 4-inch tire, so obviously it's no, actually it might be actually pretty close because 4 inches only denotes the width. It doesn't denote the actual top. A 3-inch tire might actually be this high, so it might actually be pretty close. I'm not looking to be exact too. This isn't a speed run or anything like that, but I think top speed for this is probably like around 37 miles per hour. Anyway, that's the update. That's the bike. I'm really enjoying it. Brings a big smile to my face whenever I ride it. Handling is great. Oh, that's the last thing too. The reason why I decided to do this is because of these fat tires. So that's what I had before, and this is what I have now. This is my road bike, which obviously, can actually handle corners pretty well, but because it's so light, something like this, when I was going around corners like fast, I really kind of hesitated on the corners because I wanted to kill myself. So this one with these tires, I can literally go almost full speed around a corner and not be apprehensive about it. Obviously, you have to put your leg out, or you have to lean into the turn a little bit. Uh, but yeah, so that's it. I hope everyone's doing well.